Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hollyoaks has teased a new suspect in the murder of Ethan Williams. Earlier this week, Sienna emerged as the prime suspect in Ethan's death when Maxine found a camera with old footage showing a few of the couple's heated rows. In lost footage, shot hours before the wedding, Sienna threatened to kill Ethan if he ever lied to her again. Sienna had just discovered Ethan paid for Vicky Grant to terminate her pregnancy after their fling. In Wednesday's October 9 episode, Vicky admitted to ex-boyfriend Robbie that she regretted crashing Sienna's wedding reception to brag about her affair with Ethan. "I ain't interested, Vicky," Robbie told her. "Tell it to the police. The village is crawling with them." Best streaming services 2024, including Disney+, Netflix, iPlayer, and Apple TV+. Vicky called Robbie the only one who really loves her, but he insisted he couldn't be too sympathetic since she'd made a mug out of him. "I do know you wouldn't kill anyone," Robbie told her. "As long as Sienna goes down for this, no one will come after you." The scene included an intriguing moment when Robbie mocked Vicky for cutting up Sienna's bridal knickers after sneaking into her boudoir, yet Vicky brushed aside the comment because she hadn't done that. Sienna was fresh out of being questioned by the Dee Valley police when she spotted her family watching the hidden camera footage. Sienna stormed off, with her father Jez and sisters trying to explain nobody thought she was a killer. "We don't think you'd ever hurt Ethan," Dilly assured Sienna. Maxine was just freaked out when she saw the video. Hollyoaks Sienna Blake to be questioned by police after Ethan's exit. Sienna remained outraged as she trashed her flower booth in the market, putting her behavior down to being psycho Sienna. "Just don't get too close because you might be next," she shouted to everyone. Back at home, Maxine assured Sienna that she could see the good in her. Sienna remained in a dark place, describing herself as a broken mess who is whispered about and laughed at. "I am so sick of being different," a tearful Sienna confessed. Police soon showed up to take Sienna into custody for Ethan's murder. Over at the loft, Sienna and Ethan's wedding planner met in secret with Robbie. Robbie counted out cash and handed it over to the wedding planner, who assured his benefactor that the police believed every word, implicating Sienna for the murder. It wouldn't be too surprising if Robbie turned out to be involved in Ethan's death, since he previously shot Dave Williams and made it look like Warren Fox was to blame. Is Robbie the true suspect in Ethan's death? The sleepy village of Hollyoaks is no stranger to drama, but the shocking murder of Ethan Williams has sent ripples of fear and intrigue through its close-knit community. A charismatic but deeply flawed character, Ethan had many enemies, making his murder a tantalizing puzzle. For weeks, suspicion has circled various residents, with accusations flying, alliances shifting, and secrets bubbling to the surface. But just when it seemed like the pieces were starting to fall into place, Hollyoaks throws in a curveball. A new suspect emerges, and this revelation threatens to blow the investigation wide open. Ethan's dark secrets. Ethan Williams was known for living on the edge. A charming, streetwise man with a dangerous past, he had connections to the criminal underworld that always lingered just beneath the surface. His relationship with Sienna Blake brought out both the best and worst in him. They shared a passionate, tumultuous love, marked by betrayal, lies, and, at times, violence. But it wasn't just Sienna who had complicated ties to Ethan. Many in the village had reasons to hate him, from rivals in his shady dealings to those whose lives he had destroyed along the way. In the days following Ethan's murder, the village was thrown into turmoil. Fingers pointed at his known adversaries, from Warren Fox, whose lethal temper and history of violence made him an obvious suspect, to Stahey, who had clashed with Ethan in the past. Even Sienna, despite her visible grief, wasn't free from suspicion. After all, their relationship had been far from stable, and in Hollyoaks, love and murder often go hand in hand. A new twist. As the investigation drags on, the police seem to be at a dead end. But behind the scenes, a series of cryptic clues start to surface. It begins when James Nightingale, always one to get involved in village scandals, receives an anonymous letter. The letter claims that someone close to Ethan has been hiding in plain sight and knows more about the murder. James dismisses it as a prank, but when more messages follow, each one more threatening than the last, he realizes there's something serious going on. Unable to resist the allure of a mystery, James digs deeper. He starts following leads that take him to unexpected corners of the village. In doing so, he uncovers a trail of secrets that all seem to point back to one person who no one had previously suspected: Leila Lomax. Leila's connection to Ethan. Leila Lomax has always been one of the more stable, dependable figures in Hollyoaks, a mother and sister who has had her fair share of heartache, but managed to keep her family together through sheer willpower. Her outwardly calm demeanor, however, belies a tumultuous inner world, especially when it comes to her troubled relationship with Ethan. Unbeknownst to many in the village, Leila and Ethan had a history that went far beyond casual acquaintanceship. Years ago, they had been involved in a brief but intense romance, one that fizzled out as Ethan's criminal life began to take over. While Leila moved on, or so it seemed, the truth was far more complicated. Ethan had resurfaced in her life several months before his death, and their interactions had grown increasingly fraught. It turns out that Ethan had been blackmailing Leila, using information from their past to manipulate her into doing favors for him. Desperate to keep her family safe and her past buried, Leila had done whatever Ethan asked. But the more he demanded, the more trapped she felt. Could this have been the breaking point? Had Leila finally reached the end of her rope and killed Ethan in a fit of rage? James' discovery. James' investigation into Leila's connection to Ethan becomes more intense when he finds security footage showing the two of them in a heated argument just days before Ethan's murder. In the footage, Ethan can be seen shouting at Leila, his body language aggressive and intimidating. Leila, normally composed, appears visibly shaken, and at one point, she pushes him away before storming off. Though there's no direct evidence linking her to the crime, the footage raises alarming questions about their relationship. Determined to confront her, James arranges a meeting with Leila, careful not to reveal too much of what he knows. During their conversation, Leila becomes defensive when James casually mentions Ethan's murder. Her reaction, nervous, tense, almost too eager to change the subject, only fuels James' suspicion. As he probes further, it becomes clear that Leila is hiding something. Her usually warm, maternal nature gives way to a colder, more calculated demeanor, hinting at a darker side she's fought hard to conceal. James begins to suspect that Leila, long considered one of the village's moral compasses, may have been pushed to the edge. The weight of the truth. Leila's life starts to unravel as the pressure mounts. She knows James is onto her, and she becomes increasingly paranoid, constantly looking over her shoulder and second-guessing every conversation. Her family begins to notice her erratic behavior, but she brushes off their concerns, unwilling to admit just how close she is to breaking. In a particularly gripping scene, Leila confides in Perry, her daughter, about the extent of Ethan's manipulation. She stops short of admitting any involvement in his death, but her words are laced with guilt and fear. Perry, who has already been through so much, is left devastated, unsure of what to believe. As the villagers continue to speculate about Ethan's murder, the focus shifts sharply to Leila. Whispers circulate, and soon she becomes the prime suspect. The police, having received the same footage James uncovered, bring her in for questioning. Leila, shaken but resolute, denies everything, but cracks are beginning to show. The real culprit? Yet, in true Hollyoaks fashion, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Just as the case against Leila builds momentum, a shocking new piece of evidence is uncovered that could turn the entire investigation upside down once again. Another figure from Ethan's past, someone no one saw coming, emerges from the shadows, potentially shifting the blame away from Leila. The village holds its breath as the mystery deepens, And viewers are left wondering, did Lilo Lomax, a woman driven by fear and desperation, really murder Ethan Williams? Or is the real killer still lurking in the heart of Hollyoaks, waiting for their moment to strike again? One thing's for sure, the truth about Ethan Williams' death is far from being fully uncovered, and Hollyoaks will never be the same when it finally comes to light. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Hollyoaks Update YouTube channel for more update news.